Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for taking the time to join NewView Trust, transforming the alternative investment ecosystem through technology. As you know, this is we're doing multiple sessions. This is the second of our sessions. We'll have 5 companies that we're highlighting through November and December. And these are our technology platform partners that we know and trust. And we want to give them an opportunity to highlight their platforms and just talk about the advantages of what they do, how they do it, and their platform versus their competition. During these webinars, our speakers will go into detail, illustrating how to streamline and automate your business for alternative investments, leveraging technology. So as time goes on, fintech continues to become more and more essential to the financial services industry, and technology is transforming the alternative investment universe for financial advisors, broker dealers, RIAs, sponsors, and investors. And we wanted to give you an opportunity to hear from the emerging leaders in the fintech world to better understand how they are impacting the alternative asset space. So a little bit of housekeeping. This is a disclaimer that I have to read. NewView Trust Services as your custodian for alternative investments. NewView does not provide tax, legal, or investment advice, nor do we sell investments. We custody IRAs, ESAs, HSAs, and 401ks that hold alternative investments chosen by the client. Also, a little direction on if you have any questions throughout the presentation. At the very end, we'll be launching the questions. So throughout the session, you can actually provide the questions to our folks over here. And so there's 2 ways to do it. First, you could visit the register landing page below the live stream videos. There is a form in which you can submit your questions as the presentation is ongoing. Or social media channels, which we have a lot of activity there. You can comment in the chat to submit a question throughout the presentation, and please feel free to submit them at any time. And again, we'll show those at the very end. So today, we're very excited to welcome one of our strongest partners, Altigo, and one of the founders and a good friend of ours, Mat Delloroso. And Mat is the co-founder of WealthForge, Altigo. WealthForge and Altigo. WealthForge is a fintech company founded in 2009 that is comprised of WealthForge Securities, LLC, a leading alts-focused managing broker-dealer providing distribution services to fund managers, and WealthForge Technologies, whose flagship platform is Altigo. Mat is here today to talk about Altigo, which is a leading subscription automation and straight-through processing platform used by financial advisors. Mat is an accomplished entrepreneur, a frequent speaker on securities regulations and alternative investments, as an incoming member of directors at Adisa. And Mat, thank you so much for joining us. Again, we've known each other for a long time. You've been part of our platform and grid for a long time. And so it's always good for us to get updated on what's new and upcoming with Altigo. So appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks, Heath. I appreciate speaking with you and being part of the series here today, and obviously appreciate the partnership we've had between Altigo and NewView. So happy to be here and jump into it.
Great. Well, we look forward to your presentation.
Great. Thank you. So today I wanted to talk to the audience about taking the headaches out of alternative investments. So most of you on this call are probably financial advisors, fund managers, or reps of broker dealers or home office folks that do alternative investments as part of your business. Obviously, you know that alternative investments are complex, they're opaque, they're inefficient. Doing a securities trade, buying a stock, a bond, a mutual fund is so much easier at the click of a button. Alternative investments are one of the last securities that have just been slower to be, we say automated or done with straight through processing, because the problem is most alternative investments today have paper-based subscription documents and paper-based forms that you have to fill out. So doing an alternative investment for one of your clients is painful. It's like going to the DMV versus buying something on Amazon. We at Altigo have tried to build that Amazon-like shopping experience, that frictionless checkout, that ease of purchase for your clients and for you to use as a software tool for your alternative investment business. So alternative investments are complex, as I mentioned. That paper-based subscription process causes a lot of the problems. And here's some of the problems that we hear from advisors that we work with. A lot of advisors do not know what offerings they have access to. If they're at a larger RA firm or at a broker-dealer firm or independent, it's hard to identify what alternative investments are out there in the market. It's hard to identify which have been through your compliance and your approval processes at your firm. That access to information that you might have at your firm may not be standardized in one place. Furthermore, if you do find an alternative investment that you want to offer to a client, you may not know what forms you need to fill out. You may get a kit, from a wholesaler or from a fund manager. You may get the forms from an internal dashboard or an intrasite from your firm. Those forms don't just include, forms for filling out the fund application, but they also include suitability forms and other tax forms for you to fill out on behalf of your firm or your client, and also for your custodian, where the asset's going to be held. There's also independent and unique forms for each custodian. So the whole trade package is often lengthy, and you don't know what is included or needed every time. Then when you actually go to fill out that paperwork, it's obviously lengthy. It has many hundreds of different sections that you need to fill in with repeat information. That process of filling out a paper-based subdoc or even using DocuSign is not fun. It's complex. It produces many, many errors. And oftentimes the data or the information is incomplete. And when you go and put that in front of a client, if a client has to fill it out, it's painful. If you have to fill it out, it's painful. If your assistant has to fill it out, it's painful. And you never want to have to go back to your client and say, hey, we forgot something, or this line item wasn't filled out or checked. We need another initial on this page. You never want to have to go back a second time. And then once you actually do fill out all that paperwork, it needs to be sent to many different parties and many different stakeholders. Once again, the client obviously may need to sign things. You as the advisor may need to sign things. Your firm, your supervisors may need to sign things and review things. Then it needs to be sent to the custodian who needs to review and sign things. And it also needs to be sent to the fund manager to ultimately accept your client into the fund. So that whole process takes hours, it can take days, it can take weeks. On average, before we really got into the business, we had learned that typically it can take up to 2 weeks to get a client into a private fund. And that's just crazy. That's just so long compared to buying a stock or a bond or mutual fund. And so that process oftentimes has errors and makes your client miss out, or makes your client question, where is my money? Am I in this investment? Have I been put into this private fund or not? The feedback cycle, the transparency, the loop of getting to that closing is very slow and arduous. And so everybody wastes time, communicating back and forth through different mechanisms, through email, through phone. There isn't a centralized system for all those parties to coordinate. And everything that everybody did in that system, once again, is not coordinated. There's no audit trail. There's no transparency. So this opens everybody up to additional risk. So those are a lot of the problems with alternative investments. That may be a reason why some of you don't do them as much as you maybe could or would like. We truly believe that the alternative investment process and that paper-based subscription starting point is really holding the industry back. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to provide transparency, provide ease of use, provide a better experience that is truly frictionless for all of the parties involved. And so when I founded our firm in 2009, alternative investments were opaque. They were less commonly used. Technology to do this was less prevalent. Fast forward to when we launched Altigo in 2019, the technology tools were there. Alternative investments were having somewhat of a renaissance and coming more in vogue. And so we really started Altigo to bring that frictionless process of investing in an alternative investment to more financial advisors on behalf of fund managers. So we say at Altigo that we envision a frictionless path to ownership for alternative investments. And you see on the screen here a little bit of the process, right? Who those stakeholders are, some of those pitfalls, right? So a financial professional wants to do this, their client wants to do this, they want to invest in a private fund or private real estate. Something gets filled out incorrectly, it needs to go back. It goes to the firm notices something's filled out incorrectly, it needs to go back to the financial professional, back to the client. And then when it gets to the fund manager obviously has to review it. So does the custodian. If anything is filled out incorrectly, it needs to go back. It leads to that frustration. And that's what, all the parties involved, all that sending, all that receiving, all that reviewing, leads to that long, slow cycle time. Now, obviously, that cycle time can be greatly enhanced and improved through technology. So our mission with Altigo was to make owning an alt as easy to own as a mutual fund by connecting the industry through an integrated technology platform. Now, Altigo is actually an acronym. It stands for Alternative Investments in Good Order. We like to think the opposite of Altigo is NIGO, not in good order paperwork. And we've actually seen through the usage of our technology, those error rates, those NIGO rates go down from 30 to 50% using paper-based subscription documents or other means of email and DocuSign versus using our system to a demonstrated error rate of less than 3%. And so what Altigo does is it standardizes that onboarding of fund documents. It standardizes the onboarding of firm-specific documents. It standardizes the onboarding of custodial paperwork, and it allows the approved offerings that an advisor or a rep has access to be available in one centralized dashboard that is white labeled for the firm. So at Altigo, we license our subscription automation, straight through processing technology to fund managers and wealth managers. For fund managers, they can make their products, their financial investments, their alternative investments available to their distribution partners all in one portal. For advisory firms, the approved products that you have gone through diligence can all be available in one offering list for all of your reps and advisors. They can get education, terms information, the marketing materials, the offering documents all in that one portal. They can educate a client about that alternative investment, and they can actually do the paperwork from inside of Altigo, or they can have their assistant or admin do the paperwork all from inside of Altigo through a very TurboTax, very easy 5 simple steps that can be completed without error, with business rules and logic built in a matter of 5 or 10 minutes. It's almost like a common application or a TurboTax-like experience for subscribing to any of your approved alts or the alts that you have access to. Also, along the way, there's many integrations that make it easier for data and client information to be pulled in. And then we provide transparency of where that subscription stands. Has it been completed? Has it been sent to a client for signature? Has it been sent to the fund manager? Has it been sent to the custodian? Has your firm reviewed it and approved it? We provide the status of that subscription all along the way in real time to move not only the documents, but also the data so that everybody has the information they need at their fingertips to do more business faster and easier. So that's the goal of Altigo. That's the technology we've built. When we typically engage with advisors or advisor firms or even fund managers, we ask them, what's the current state of your alts program? What does your alts program look like today? How many offerings are you doing? How do you share information? How do you do the subscription? Is it paper? Do you use your own version of DocuSign? And the truth is, the answer across the industry is all different and all varying. And there isn't one easy connected network for advisors to do all the alts business they need in one place until, we launched Altigo. So that was the problem that we saw in 2015, in 2016, in 2017, and 2018. And we like to say the game changed in 2019 when we as a firm rolled out this technology with some of our other early fund manager and broker-dealer clients. We launched Altigo to streamline that process and truly bring straight-through processing to the industry. So this is a graphical illustration here of the benefits of Altigo. It connects and coordinates across all the parties needed in a transaction, providing them the data they need in real time, the documents they need. It allows them to be part of the workflow and do the actions that they need, get alerts, know where everything stands, all from one centralized dashboard so that an alts trade can happen in a matter of minutes rather than hours, days, or weeks. And we've seen transactions happen from beginning to end, from the advisor to the client, on through the firm's workflow to the custodian, and eventually accepted by the fund manager in less than 45 minutes. That's the power of technology that coordinates, benefits from a network effect, has streamlined workflows, brings straight through processing. It allows folks to do more business without error, without more work. It just simply streamlines and allows folks to grow while also de-risking what happens to be usually the riskiest part of their business in alternative investments. So we like to say, Altigo is an easy button for advisors, for financial advisory firms. It allows you to go paperless, without exception. Altigo does have ways to accept manual and wet signatures, but we allow e-signature. We've built Altigo on top of DocuSign, so you can go completely paperless for all of your business. In audits, no more searching for files. No more searching emails, which can expose PII. No more searching for files on your computer if you have regulatory or client questions. It's all available inside of one login that could be right as a single sign-on with your other systems right on your dashboard. As mentioned, it provides straight-through processing of all forms through this one easy button. So custodial paperwork like new views is incorporated inside of Altigo. We also want to integrate with the existing systems that you as an advisor and your advisory firm are already using. So one of the integrations inside of Altigo is Redtail. If you use Redtail as a CRM, you can pull in client information into Altigo and onto the subdocs. So you never have to type in a client name or address or social security number, or worse yet, write them onto a paper subdoc ever again. You do it one time, add the client information into your CRM, seamlessly pulls that into Altigo. You can see how that can save you time and effort in doing alternative investments for your clients. And then because we have technology that gates, moving forward or make sure certain things were filled out, or make sure that certain business rules are followed, like suitability, making sure, an elderly investor is not putting their entire net worth into one alternative investment. We have ways to make sure that the paperwork is filled out correctly, that the subscription will get through your home office's compliance if we have your home office's rules. And we also incorporate the fund manager's rules to make sure that once you filled out the paperwork and sent it to the sponsor, it will be accepted because our workflow has taken into consideration that fund manager's requirements before asking you the questions in that common application. Once again, on Altigo, we handle all types of funds, all types of alternative investment funds that are typically subscribed with paper-based subdocs. So that includes non-traded REITs, 1031 exchanges, opportunity zone funds, private placements, covered securities like preferred shares and interval funds, and many other types of alternative investments like litigation, finance, and energy. All in one system, regardless of the type of fund, it's in Altigo. And as mentioned, this greatly reduces cycle time and administrative time. It allows the advisor to speak knowledgeably and confidently, understand these alternative investments, offer them to the client, and not worry about the operational or paperwork process. And once again, for firms, one of the biggest benefits is alternative investments are risky. They're fraught with compliance questions and work. A technology system can really help your home office de-risk in terms of providing that audit trail, making sure all of your policies and procedures were applied, and automating some of those supervision or assisting in some of those supervision and review tasks. Technology can really make it easy for a firm to de-risk and grow their alternative investment process. So Altigo has been in the market for 3 years. We are super proud of our traction, of the other firms in the industry that have gotten on board and wanted to make doing business and alternative investments easier for advisors. This screen just shows some of our clients. Through Altigo, we've had more than 624 funds, alternative investment funds, listed on the platform. We often set up new funds in a matter of days or weeks for our clients. And those funds come from more than 113 current asset managers. We've had more than 201 broker-dealer or RIA firms use Altigo to submit a transaction. We have hundreds of monthly active advisor users, and there's been more than $2.5 billion of alternative investment volume submitted through the Altigo technology. And we're happy to announce that we've just recently crossed 10,000 unique subscriptions being completed on the platform. So one of the best benefits of Altigo is that it's a network. Fund managers want their distribution partners to do business with them in an easier way. Financial advisors want to do all of their alts business in one place through a very easy platform that they know and understand. And so Altigo has benefited from the network effect of having the industry and the partners use a very flexible white labeled technology that connects them to do the business they're already doing in a better, faster way. So I want to wrap up some of my prepared marks here with a case study. This is just one of those 201 wealth management firms that have used our technology. A firm that we actually engaged with in 2019, and one of our first broker-dealer clients was a group called Kingswood and Benchmark Investments. They are a SEC-registered RIA and FINRA licensed broker-dealer firm with over $3 billion in assets. They offer comprehensive wealth management and services to their financial advisor clients and investor clients. They do have a parent company in Kingswood that combines resources, and they have a personalized touch and feel of a large company, but also in a boutique. And they have 160 advisors across the United States currently. They turned to Altigo to automate and streamline their alternative investment business. They have used the platform prolifically to grow and scale, to really start off their alternative investment business in the right way, and have built processes and procedures to allow their alternative investments business to actually be growing and one of the leading broker-dealer firms doing alternative investments in the industry. Doug Blake, who runs the alternative investment program at Kingswood, is a friend of the firm, and he has really nice things to say about the technology being so intuitive and so effective, allowing them to quadruple their production. So Kingswood has really used Altigo to grow and scale. Other of our firms use Altigo to de-risk and bring greater operational and efficiency and control to their platform and progress. But you can see here, Kingswood has used it pretty prolifically to provide a better service for their advisors and for their clients. So we like to engage with advisors, also fund managers, but also firms, the leading executives and home office compliance, alts folks, operations folks at firms. And we want to know, what other headaches do you experience with your alts program that technology could help you address? Because we feel like we are providing a great rep experience, a great advisor experience, a great home office experience, and a great fund manager experience through the straight-through processing and subscription automation tool that we've built. And we want to extend that to other places and other areas that may give you pain points, so that filling out a subscription is a joyful experience and never a reason why you do not do alternative investments. So we want to engage with more folks in the industry, figure out what other problems we can solve, and address them through scalable technology to provide you benefit to do more of the business that you want to do. So Heath, that's a quick overview on Altigo and the growth of our platform and the benefits, and appreciate you, sharing this information with your viewers, and happy to continue the conversation.
Yeah, that was an excellent presentation. I pulled some themes from your presentation and I wrote them down, but it's de-risk, streamline investor experience, help grow, and also part of a large network. And I thought those were pretty good highlights from what folks can experience by participating. We certainly have on our side, because ultimately this helps our investor experience as far as where we are in the ecosystem. We do have some questions. I have one question myself that I want to bring to you, and then we have some questions coming through as well through the pipeline here. But I wanted to ask you, why do you believe the alternative investing world is expanding at such a fast pace?
Yeah, I think for a number of reasons. One, which I already went into, is just better tools, better technology. Folks like Altigo and our peers making it easier for people to do the business is a byproduct, is maybe one of the reasons. But I think alternative investments are growing for two other reasons. One is the reason why we started our firm. In certain economic environments, it makes a ton of sense to diversify, to find uncorrelated assets and offerings, which alternative investments provide. So I think, for a high net worth individual's portfolio, certainly with endowments and institutions who can take a longer term horizon, alternative investments just make sense as an area for diversification, for greater yield, for growth. Alternative investments are a bit of a misnomer and super broad. So just because something isn't publicly traded on an exchange, it doesn't mean that it doesn't make a great investment opportunity. So if an advisor can afford to listen to a client or get educated about alternative investments, the other reason is, I think, the fee alignment, the opacity, has changed, and fees are better structured to be aligned for investors and for investor outcomes. So I think there's more transparency, there's more awareness, there's better technology tools, and there's just better alignment with less fees and still good investor outcomes.
Yeah, and we're seeing that. You're seeing that from your perspective, and you hit on something else too. And I have a lot of conversations on the road and also internally here that the market conditions can have a lot to do with a particular expanding. So when you have inflation, you have pressure on core portfolios, the S&P, and we see that there's so much pressure on performance in the core portfolio. We're looking for alternatives, and we'll take that further. We're looking for alternatives, maybe even to bonds when we have high inflation, high interest rates, where bonds are not that safe haven. We're getting a lot of questions, and I know that all of our peers are getting a lot of questions on what can we find that's, you mentioned it, non-correlated, uncorrelated, but also a potential alternative to help create that ballast within our portfolio. And so it's an exciting time for, I think, all of us on this side of the world and your side, but also for broker dealers, RIAs, financial advisors, and investors to just expand their portfolio construction a little bit more and be a little more liberal. And also, I think between what we do and you do, it's helping de-risk and really not de-risk the risk profile, but de-risk the experience, and also implementing the compliance like you do working with broker dealers has a big part of that too. Um, what Because you've had a lot of growth. What's been the secret to Altigo's growth and traction? And you
Yeah,
alluded a little bit at the end of your presentation, but if you want to expand on it a little bit more.
yeah, I appreciate the question, Heath. So, when we launched in 2019, we knew we had a bit of a chicken and egg problem. We benefited from being a existing broker dealer firm, doing alternative investments, knowing alternative investment fund managers. But how are we going to get those participants onto our technology and really build a software-enabled marketplace for subscription automation and straight-through processing? And so we had a chicken and egg problem of, do we get the fund managers first or do we get the financial advisors first? And we had to solve that. And so we worked with fund manager clients to get, the now more than 600 funds that have been on our technology kind of up on the platform first to solve problems for the fund managers so that they could work with their distribution partners better. They could list their fund on our technology. It could be all DocuSign. We do all that DocuSign mapping. The fund manager could simply tell an advisor that they work with, go to this link, go to this portal, click a button, subscribe. You don't have to type in a ton of information. It just works. We'll accept it when you do it that way. It'll be much better than filling something out via paper and mailing it or emailing it. So we work with our fund manager clients to essentially get their products on the platform, to get their products on the shelf by helping the fund manager first, provide a better experience to their advisors. And then, we needed to work on the other side of the problem is we need to understand from a financial advisor and a broker dealer's perspective how we can build that technology and really a great user experience to benefit them. So what are all the things that they need to do in an alternative investment transaction? Who typically does it? Is it the advisor? Is it their admin? Okay, they fill out the paperwork. How do you simply get it to your client? How does your client get it back to you? Then it's got to go to your home office. What are the things that your home office do or require? Do they require additional forms? Okay, well, we need to put them as part of the package. Do you work with a custodian? Well, who are they? Oh, you work with NewView. That's great. And we need to coordinate with NewView and have their forms and send the documents and data to them too. And ultimately, it gets back to the fund manager. So we had to get a critical mass of, we said, product on the shelf and advisor users to really create that network effect. And that network effect and the super simple, streamlined user experience that we provide are really the reason why I think we've got traction. So we've got a large network using it, but it's really that focus on, let's work with all the constituents in the market, both financial advisors and wealth managers, and figure out the simplest, easiest way through technology, like that Amazon shopping experience, that we can present them quickest way possible with as little errors, a way to complete a subdoc. So that, screens, that attention to detail on all the permutations of filling out those complex subdocs through a very easy TurboTax like common application like user experience on the screens are probably the two reasons why we've had great growth and why our partners choose us, because we're providing those benefits of scale and ease in the market.
And I think you just spoke to another question that we just had come through, is that how do you integrate with NewView or other custodians? And if you want to expand on that a little bit more, as far as we know here, but if you want to expand it straight from your words, our piece of it, working with you, I think it's good for broker dealers. If you could just expand on that a little bit.
Yeah. So, I'd be remiss in my last answer of how we've or why we've grown to not mention, people and relationships, right? So it certainly starts with our team at Altigo, but it's, relationships with other industry participants, like the custodians and like NewView. So Heath, as you mentioned, we've known each other for a long time. Our organizations have known each other for a long time. And what we found in my previous answer was, the custodian is a central part, for an advisor in an alts transaction, also for a wealth or for an asset manager and a fund sponsor. But so we knew that we had to involve the custodian as part of the process. And what we do specifically is we've taken your account opening forms, your alts purchase forms, and baked that into our workflow when an advisor or when a fund manager comes to use Altigo. So we ask the fund manager, where are your assets able to be custodied? We ask you guys, what offerings are available for custody on your platform, and we ask the advisor, who do you use as your typical custodian? So in the Altigo workflow, an advisor would select, hey, my custodian is NewView. We automatically pop up and help them fill out the NewView forms, and those forms get contributed and attached to the DocuSign package that goes to the end client. The end client signs everything they need, right? The NewView forms, the fund manager's forms, and any of their home office forms in one package. That data then all gets routed to you guys at NewView for your review and for your processing, and to everybody else in the transaction. So we've tried to make you guys an integral part. The custodians are an integral part of a alts purchase, and so we have that baked in, automated through data sending and form filling and data capture through Altigo.
Yeah, I was just thinking too, to close on the questions and the formal comments, that you have, in terms of where you guys are in the life cycle of processing, ultimately executing that transaction, where we are involved in that. Ultimately, what really matters, and although we participate a great deal in that, it's very important that we're just part of that ecosystem. Ultimately, the onus goes back on the sponsor. Ultimately, the onus goes back on the financial advisor and the broker dealer. So I think we're in place, and it's so important that we work well together, because ultimately that's going to impact the reputation and the experience that those investors have with the sponsor, the broker dealer, and the financial advisors. And that is where I hear really the good stories about what we're doing, what you're doing. And that's what I think, ultimately makes us proud in terms of our, working with partners like you. But also, we just want to make sure, go back to what we talked about before, we just want, and we know that our broker dealers and sponsors want a streamlined process so that an investor experience will be positive and good, so they'll come back. And so that's when it comes to growth, retention, and everything else. So we appreciate what you guys are doing, and excellent presentation. Is there anything else you want to add before we close up?
No, NewView, very much appreciate the partnership with NewView. And, one of the recent benefits that we've rolled out is the advisor can do everything they need with NewView and with, any fund manager in Altigo, right? So we send the documents and the data automatically to NewView. The advisor doesn't have to do that second manual step of coordinating with their custodian. We do that on your behalf. And so, Heath, it's been a great partnership, to evolve here between Altigo and NewView. And I appreciate being part of this series here you have on Alts Tech. And we look forward to, working with other financial advisor and broker dealer firms and fund managers, that want to bring ease and efficiency to their clients. So thank you for having me, and I appreciate telling the folks about Altigo.
Yeah, we really appreciate participating. It's really good to see you. In closing, to our viewers, thank you so much again for taking the time with us. If you want to refer to this presentation in the future, the recording will be on your landing page, YouTube, or LinkedIn. And also, ultimately, we're going to have this in our education portal on our website. And we have, don't forget, we have 3 more presentations over the course of the rest of November and also December outside of, we're not going to be having them on the holiday weeks. But really, thank you for your commitment to us. And thank you again, Matt, Altigo, and everyone. Have a very good holiday. We're not going to see you until after Thanksgiving for those that continue to participate. So happy Thanksgiving pre, and best to your family and friends and loved ones. Take care.